Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing great this morning. Another pillow talk. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at
This is
us.
always fun, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lots of
So,
fun.
so, um, today the big topic that was on my mind when I woke up today was this really extraordinary comment that Tichina Arnold made online that really kind of blew my mind. Um, we talked about it yesterday.
Okay, so I actually read the comment verbatim this morning
Hmm.
on Twitter because I didn't know. And so can you read the comment what she wrote?
Yeah, she basically asked black women, like
No,
what can
I'm sorry. I think we
do you
should
have a
ask.
comment or do you have
No,
a
I
question?
think I think we should read it verbatim.
Okay, why don't you pull it up?
Okay, I'll read
And
it. Pull it up.
because I realized I pulled up all the responses to her comment, but
But you didn't put the comment
I
up?
don't actually have the actual comment here,
Oh,
and I
okay.
think
That's
out of
okay.
fairness, and what I'll do is I'll say hi to everybody.
Okay, say
Okay,
hello.
so as you come in, shout out the city that you're from. Let us know what city you're from. We'd like to know, where our fellow pillow talkers are all throughout the world. Hey, DDS, my name is Corey, real legit. Good morning. Sometimes it takes a minute for the internet to wake up and for people to come in, but I'd like to know what city you guys are coming from. So shout out your city, and or you can also shout out the name of your business, things like that. Tim's out of Hartford, Connecticut. Okay, nice, nice. Hartford, you ever been to Hartford?
I have been to Hartford. It was the coldest place in the world.
Real,
I was freezing my balls off.
Hartford isn't where Yale is, right?
I don't think so.
I get them
It
mixed up.
could be, but I know I was just cold. It was cold and dark.
Oh,
But it was nice. We ended up I went with a friend of mine, our mutual friend, and she had a friend in Connecticut, and we actually went to Vermont.
mm.
Vermont was the most beautiful place I've ever been.
Oh,
That
yeah.
made me fall in love with snow, by the way.
I don't like snow.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so DD4 out of Washington D.C. My name is Corey from Baltimore. Good morning, Tim Wright. Chanel Disman is out of Flint, Michigan. Myron out of Washington D.C. I heard from Dr. Myron Roll the other day. Shout out to Dr. Myron. I have a lot of respect for the brother. I look forward to getting to know him. Charles Jones is from Seat Pleasant, Maryland. Derek Morrill from Spokane, Washington. Aurelia Parks out of Bowie, Maryland. Valerie from Suwanee, Georgia. I'll be in Georgia coming up pretty soon. King Randall's having an I Am a Man march on April 30th. I'm going to go join that. Let's see. Oh, Yale's in New Haven.
New Haven, right?
Okay.
Connecticut. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nifet. I don't, I forget I don't keep up with schools
You
like
don't keep up with the Ivy League schools,
no,
boys.
I do not care what they think. All right, so let's see. Tim Wright. Yeah, people watch your mouth, doctors. I respect y'all. Let's see here. Mount Morris, Michigan for Tiffany. Douglas, Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn's always in the house, even when they're not in the
Is
house.
Brooklyn
Brooklyn's in
in
the
the
house.
house? What?
Such great energy in Brooklyn, I'm telling you. MJ from the Caribbean, Barbados. D'Angelia is out of Indiana, where we met.
That's what's up.
IU.
Hoosiers.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you all. Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all heard Tichina Arnold's comment and also um, just some of the reactions? Give me a yes or no if you know what was going on with that. And so why don't you read her comment?
Okay, I have it up here. Okay, so her comment, she said, honest question. What can we as Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? And I read that question and I have to tell you my initial reaction was big laugh. I
Why?
started giggling and laughing because okay, so I just saw it. I thought it was just ironic. The irony of her question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because her whole career has been involved in a system that solely, not solely, but has one of its agenda to emasculate Black men. And those are her
Okay.
employers. And I just thought it was just an ironic question. So maybe she's evolved and she's starting to reflect and starting to say, wow, some of this stuff was devastating to Black men.
Okay. I can hear that,
That
right?
was the irony of it for me.
I can hear that. But one of the things I'll say is, you always said that you love Martin. You love Gina and Martin's romance.
I
How
do.
how did Martin emasculate black men? I don't think it did. I mean, you had Tommy and Cole.
Uh,
Which one was it? Tommy that never had a job. Now that was just funny. I mean,
boy, but
we all know a Tommy, right? And
boys.
Cole was like the dumb one, and then you had Martin and Martin and Gina had this black love on screen. You've said yourself that Martin and Gina, that's one of the few examples of two black people in love
Falling in love.
on
Yeah,
TV.
I love that they
So
fell in
so
love.
what's wrong with what they do? I don't think Martin. Don't give me.
Okay.
I mean, sure, there's things you could probably point out. I'm sure if you were critical, but I like Martin. What do you mean?
Okay. So, are you? Is this a for real question?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you
Tell me.
not? Do you not remember when he dressed up as, was it
Oh,
Shaniqua,
Shaniqua. Oh, was it Shanae?
Shanae, or whatever it was? Do you not
Yeah.
remember that?
Ooh, yeah. You got touche.
Wait, are you for real? You really didn't remember that?
I forgot about Shanae because
For real?
Martin was such a great talent that I separate him and Shanae. I didn't even think about it.
But subconsciously, you don't separate it.
But that's real though.
You
That's
consciously
real.
didn't remember. And so, like, okay, so there we have that. And then I know she does an excellent job with her friend who was on the show. What's her name? Tichina Arnold?
No,
No,
Tichina
Tichina
Arnold's
Arnold. What was her
yeah.
friend that played Gina? What was her
Um.
name?
Oh gosh.
I'm bad with names.
I know her face. I mean, I'm looking at it.
She's got a real, like, cute little
I
round
can't remember
face.
her name in
We cannot
real life.
remember.
Let's
We
call her
old.
Gina. Let's call her Gina for now.
Okay, so
I'm
okay,
sure somebody's
somebody's.
gonna throw a name up on the screen. We go ahead.
She does a really good job. First of all, both of them are funny. Okay, but they do a really
And
good.
very talented.
Very
Remember
talented and fun.
Tisha Campbell. Or
Tisha can
is it Tisha Campbell?
Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So they have similar
Well,
first
remember
names.
when those two were in Little Shop of Horrors?
Oh, come
How
on.
good that was.
Well, they were in a lot of different really good stuff together. But anyway, so later in their career, I mean, they have hosted the BET Awards. They have hosted all of these award shows that give
Hmm.
acclimates and awards to individuals
Straight
who
buffoonery.
emasculate, who's part of this
Okay.
emasculation of black men.
Okay. Okay. I hear that. I
So
hear that.
that was
Fair
my
enough.
initial
And
reaction.
you are correct.
Hmm.
I agree. I mean, I think that it does make sense to challenge. You got to. I mean, if you really want to talk about the emasculation of the black male, you got to go straight to Hollywood. I don't know why these Negroes be going out west begging for jobs, begging to work for people who have no respect for you. When they got every Negro up in Hollywood dressing like a woman, all of them. I'm like, what is this thing? Like that, it's like almost like a fetish.
Yeah.
Like
So
almost like the same way they have the fetish about talking to children about sex in school. Like we got it. You're
what are you
7.
talking about?
Like now in town school, they want to talk to kids about sex and becoming transgender at
They've
7
always
years old.
done. They've always
No,
done
I
that.
don't think. I think that they're pushing it a little bit too hard.
Oh,
I don't want
well,
nobody.
that's a different
I don't
topic.
want nobody talking to my child about sex when they're 7, except for the parent.
Well, I mean, schools don't. Okay, so I've had 3 children in schools,
Hmm.
and I've worked in schools and stuff like that. So they don't. I mean, they just don't expose your children to this stuff. They get you have to have your permission first.
Yeah,
I know that. I know. I can only speak to my school district and the school districts I've worked in, which has been quite a bit. They send the parents the curriculum. They send the parents the permission forms.
that's because your kids went to good schools.
Yeah, but I've worked in schools that weren't so good, so they
Mhm.
inform parents first before they put that in front of them. But anyway, that's a different topic.
Well, I think
But
Hollywood is a weird place, and I think there's a reason why they want these black men putting dresses on. I think that they get off on seeing Terry Crews with big muscles dressing like a woman. There's something like erotic about that for
and
them.
I'm certain Terry Crews is like a friend of hers. So maybe
Mm,
maybe she should turn that question on herself. Like, instead of saying what we as black women, like, what can she do? Part of what she can do would probably destroy her career. She wouldn't be on TV anymore. Like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, what do you do when you wake up to the realization that you work for a system that it's one of its purposes is to emasculate black men? I guess there's nothing you can do but put a question up on Twitter.
mm,
Like,
okay.
she's in a position of influence and power, and she's posing this question already knowing that there's nothing she can do. It's career death for her. to go
Hmm.
up against the people who are paying her.
Hmm. Okay.
So I don't know. I
Well,
just found it ironic, and so that's why I laughed.
well, I'll say this. I can see it being ironic, and I can hear that point of view.
Hmm.
I like Tashina's question though. I thought that
Yeah,
Tashina, started a great conversation in the community, and
it's a great question.
I think we should also share some of the responses and kind of go through some of those. So do us a favor, if you could take 1 second, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up. You're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, where we get against our pillows and have professor talks, professor Black love conversations that affect the community, gender based, black men, black women, everything else. So please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. And also, if you'd like free guides to healthy communications and ways to create a drama free relationship, go to boyceandalicia.com. We have a Black Love Challenge. We also have a lot of support on scientifically based methods to help you communicate with your partner. It's all free. So just go to boyceandalicia.com. And we can also, if you also go to boyceandalicia.com, get on the email list. We will inform you when we have events. We're going to do a live event in Chicago. We're going to be at the Essence Fest and, of course, at the All Black National Convention. And so go to boyceandalicia.com so you can be on the email list as well, so you can be kept in the loop when we do new things. All right, so so let me throw in some of the comments that were made online, and some of the responses were really interesting. I'll throw the first one up from Erica Lachey. Erica Lachey says, first of all, kudos to you for having the heart to even ask this. I believe combating any media, music, or conversations that try to reframe what our men are without their consent is vital, and refusing to support any behavior that encourages emasculation. So what Erica Lachey said, and Erica Lachey, I followed her. I like Erica Lachey's commentary. She's basically saying, to Shishina, in terms of asking what we as black women can do to not support the emasculation of black men, she's basically saying that a lot of it goes back to media in terms of what is being shown, on television and radio and all that. And it seems like that's consistent with what you said, where you might turn that toward Tashina and others and say, let's talk about Hollywood. Let's confront Hollywood. That's what it sounds like Erica's kind of saying as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is it's the Willie Lynch. It's carrying out the Willie Lynch. Have you read the Willie Lynch letter?
Yes.
Okay, so it's carrying out the Willie Lynch, and part of the Willie Lynch to destroy black families is to emasculate the black man. That's part of the Willie Lynch. It's a lot of stuff with Willie Lynch, but that's part of it. And so that's what it's like someone got their hands on it and they're just playing it out. So that's a very sound comment. So I agree with that for
Okay.
sure. Hmm.
Okay. Next comment that I saw was interesting. Was this is the comment? Oh, this is Tachina's response.
Oh,
She said I'm still reading the comments. Woo. Well, first
yeah.
first off, that's a lot of mental toughness. The fact that she sits down and reads those comments.
Good for
The
her.
internet is such a toxic place. I'm gonna tell the truth. When I find myself getting too riled up over what people say, I stop reading. You can't,
Okay.
because you keep reading those comments. It's like taking one bitter pill after another, and because people just will come in and just say the most toxic shit they can think of, and then they'll go on about their day, and you'll be sitting there really like steaming over something somebody said, and then I said, "This is stupid, man, please." So anyway, so she read the comments. She said, one, despite all, I will never be fearful of asking any question. You go good, very nice. I like that. Two, the black man and black woman needs to heal together. We are up against a plethora of odds that are continually stacked against us, but it won't change my love for all of us. Which I like that. What do you
So
think?
she's coming into the realization
What
that it's
realization you
taking
come to?
both of us working together. So she's become enlightened.
Yeah, I like that. I
And
I really I really like it.
mhm.
I
And it's
like that.
courageous for her to it is courageous for her to ask that question. It just seems like late in her career she's asking it. I wonder how long that question had been floating in her head before she actually put it out there. It's not like, oh, I just had this enlightenment on today. Easter Sunday, I had this enlightenment. I don't know when she made the comment, but Holy Week, I have this enlightenment. I'm gonna now post this question.
Well, here's the thing with Tichina, and she's been
Mm-hmm.
a big supporter of our platform, by the way.
Oh, really?
She's made
Okay.
a lot of comments. She supported, what we do, what Vicky Diller does, stuff like that, and so I respect her for that. Plus, I know people. I think I know a guy who's a father of one of her kids, if I'm not mistaken. But I got to double check. I got to check that to be sure. But anyway, but the thing is
Mm-hmm.
with the comment, here's where this is really difficult territory that she stepped into. She stepped into an area full of landmines because here's the deal: it's very easy to go on the internet and be divided because that's what all the studies are showing. The studies are showing that the internet has divided society, not just black men and black women, but Democrats and Republicans, white and black people, just because people have become very tribal. They go to their tribe and they bitch about people who are not in their tribe, and everybody says, everybody agrees, everybody hits the like button, and you feel good because you're not getting any resistance to your perspective. You're not being challenged to hear another point of view. So when you have the whole manosphere is basically similar to what you have when you have a lot of Democrats that get together on Democracy Now, and all they do is they talk shit about the Republicans and how terrible the Republicans are, right? And then you have the Trump supporters who all get together and talk about how much they hate the Democrats and they hate the liberals. And what happens, unfortunately, is you end up dehumanizing anybody who doesn't agree with the tribe. So that's the manosphere. That's also that black feminist space as well, unfortunately, where not all of them, of course, but some of them just get real toxic. And it's like the more toxic and extreme you
How
are.
so toxic?
Um,
Explain that a little more.
The female Kevin Samuels is that are out here.
I don't
Like,
know. Do they identify as feminists?
they some of them do. They'll.
They do. I don't know
Mhm.
any,
I'll show you
but
some examples.
okay, show me
There's
some.
some out there that there's like a professor who does it. All she does is say terrible things about black men, and everybody hits the like
Real, a
button.
professor does that?
Yeah, I'll show you who she is. I think
Okay, yeah,
I
I'd
forgot
like
what.
to see that.
Yeah, yeah. So the internet. So what I like about Tashina's uh, question is it forced black men to get together with black women and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think it's easy for me to demonize and dehumanize you if I don't, especially if I don't know you and I don't have to talk to you. But when you
Hmm.
force me to sit in a room with you and I have to acknowledge your humanity and we have to solve a problem together,
Mm-hmm.
that creates a whole different reality.
Yeah, so I like her statement. Honestly, I like that comeback. Um, I like the fact that she's saying, "Look, we're all in this together. It's
Mm.
not just on black men to fix themselves. We all need to come together and fix ourselves together as a community." So that's a beautiful statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. So let me pull up another comment
Mm-hmm.
here. Let's see. Okay, here's a comment from the Black Authority, Jason Black. I met Jason Black once. He doesn't show his face on the
Jason
internet.
Black. Why does
Yeah.
that name seem
Oh,
familiar?
because he's been doing commentary for a while. He's
Okay.
got a big platform. It is good. He's really good. And I met him one time when I saw Dr. Claude Anderson for the first time in years. Back in 2014, 2015, Jason Black held an event in Chicago. That's the only time I met him in person.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's funny because his voice in real life is different from the voice he has on the internet. On the internet, he talks with authority. He talks with authority. But then in the real world, he kind of has a different kind of voice. So he's
Oh,
very
that's funny.
good at commentary and stuff. But anyway, so he says go back to checking. Okay, here's the suggestion. He says we should go back to checking each other. He said black women in particular, checking each other on anti-black male behavior. Sisters go harder on each other's hair than they do on over hating black men. Two, stop the sick culture of saying a government job, government benefits, a dog, a degree, or girlfriends take the place of a man.
Wait, okay. So what was the first statement?
He's
Read the
saying
first one.
he's saying black women should challenge each other when you see anti-black male behavior.
Oh,
The same
so
way men should challenge each other when they see anti-black woman behavior.
okay. So he's saying that we need to okay, the word challenge, it just sounds so hostile. Like maybe we should just, say, hey, look, let's not contribute to this. Let's approach each other in a better way. Okay, so I kind of like that first comment. Okay, what's the second one
Stop the
again?
culture of basically concluding that a job benefits or a degree is a replacement for a man. That they're that they're
So he feels that
I think he's
women
saying stop get rid of the culture that says I don't need a man. because I have all these other things.
I have all these other things. I don't know too many women that say this, but maybe they're out there. I'm certain they're out there because why would he make that statement? He probably came across some women who said, so I don't know. So, okay, so he's not saying don't get a job and don't get education. What he's saying is that we shouldn't try to make that as a replacement for a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I can deal with that. Read on. That
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Next comment was, let's see. Someone says, I'm truly concerned about this question because it's basically saying that we're responsible for Black men and their feelings, which is giving them more of a reason to put that responsibility on us. And I ain't responsible for anybody but myself and my children.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I don't think that's what Tichina was saying. I think she was saying, what can we do together? So there we go. There's this statement that's just attacking the question in and of itself, which is a wonderful question. She asked in the first place. So that's a little, I don't know.
Well, that's the nature of the internet. You ask a
I
question,
don't know
and then
about that.
people, if you,
How dare you ask that question?
right.
I ain't responsible for no
Fuck you
man.
ask that question? What's wrong with you? Right. It's just, I mean, that's yeah. So this poor lady, she probably needs to go see her therapist. And but more specifically, I did mention I did a podcast about it yesterday, where effectively my thought was that comment is a reflection of the lack of accountability that all of us have kind of embraced as a community. Like,
Yeah.
and then when she says, I'm only responsible for me and my children, well, do your children have a father? Or did you get like did you get like a woman to impregnate you? Or did so it seems to me, if you love your children, you're going to want their father to be okay.
She totally like excluded the father out of the whole picture.
Yeah. And
So
that,
there's a story behind it. I'm sure she's got a very valid story for why she's saying that, but it sounds like there's a story. I ain't being responsible for him. He'd be responsible for his damn self.
if
I'm
he's
gonna
not
be
a husband, and
responsible.
maybe that's why it's just you
He
and your
needs his
children.
push on.
Right. So maybe again, there you go. We doing the work for the therapist.
Oh
The
my
therapist can help
God.
her get to the bottom of it. Like that's why it's just you and your children, because
Lord help
that's all
us.
you care about. Yeah, that's true. Your life, to some extent, your life can become a manifestation of what matters to you. You know,
Heaven help us all.
like
Okay,
like
move on.
like you and I care about education, and that's why we both have a bunch of degrees.
Yeah.
You know,
How could we not?
what you care about is what will manifest in your life. The things you don't care about will disappear. So she don't care about her man, and maybe that's why her man disappeared.
That's so true.
All right, next, let's Lassie Aniga says, we as Black women are not responsible for the image that Black men have created for themselves. I wish people
Ah,
would stop placing this responsibility on us.
man, I don't like. Well, I don't like that comment necessarily because she's saying that Black men are solely responsible for this emasculation, and I don't think that. I think there's systems that are responsible. Also, we can deconstruct that responsibility, and it doesn't have to just lie on Black men. What do you think?
Well, let me ask everybody in the group chat. Give me a yes or no. Do Black men control media? Do Black men who yes or
Hello.
no? Do Black men control the images that are put on television? Give me a yes or no. Um, yes or no? Do Black men control the radio stations? Do we decide what music gets played on the radio? Give me a yes or no. The yes or no? Do Black men control the newspapers? Do Black men decide what images, what Black male stories are going to get featured in the newspapers? Well, then that right there says, and I see the reason I share this comment is because so many people hit the heart button, because it shows a lot of people agree with this person, which unfortunately speaks to a lack of understanding of how this world works. These images of Black men in media were not created by Black men, because they can always go find some Negro somewhere who will do any ridiculous thing on earth to get on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of us as Black men are sitting back saying, this ain't me. I don't got nothing in common with this guy.
Yeah, you're invisible. That side of Black. I mean, there's ignorance to go around for everybody. Why
Yeah.
is it just for one person,
Right.
one group of people?
Right. They
Mm-hmm.
they I told you that there's three main ways for a Black man to really get a lot of fame and recognition in this country. And three of the big ways are: one, if you play a sport. So that's why all the Black boys want to be basketball players and football players. Two, if you're a thug, like a thuggish rapper, and you talk about harming black people, disrespecting women, staying high and drunk all the time, which is again that's a step and fetch it
Mm-hmm.
minstrel show. That's in the tradition of the minstrel show. Because if you go back, you look at minstrel shows 100 years ago. It was just like hip hop. It was exaggerated behavior by black males that fulfilled stereotypes that white people had of what the black man is. Like I was just lazy and store and dumb ball, and I don't know where is the sun? Is the sun up there with the moon, or is it in the other direction, ball? So when you are a rapper and you rapping individual, gotta get 100 and you just
Are
sounding
you mumble rapping on?
yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, like when you literally are going out of your way to have, to speak in a way that's ignorant and self-destructive, you're doing a minstrel show. That's what that is. Like people, for some reason, they don't understand. Like this is a tradition. The
Yeah.
third way for black men to get ahead is by telling jokes. If you're a comedian, because a person who's telling jokes is non-threatening. Black men are very scary when we are serious and when we are strong.
And
We scare the hell out of. I'm just playing. I'll be
mhm.
quiet. But like when we are really on our stuff and we show up and we about our business, that's very intimidating. Like people, they were okay when Ice Cube was saying straight out of Compton, I'm gonna go, I go kill a black person. But when he's talking about I'm gonna show up to the government to collect our check, like that made a lot of white people like, well, wait a minute, hold on, wait, we don't want black men talking like that. So ultimately, that's what you're up against. Go ahead, babe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean there are two things that came to my mind too. Is that Tichina Arnold is asking these. She keeps asking these very nice questions. It'd be nice if she would post another one, see how far she's able to go, because I can see if she's gonna end up getting canonized, Nick Cannon.
I think she
You
should.
know,
Oh, if she, well, you know what, that is true.
she's gonna
Like,
be canon.
well, and that is
It's a
interesting.
verb now.
That's a good point. Yeah, when you get Nick Cannon, like,
Nick Cannon.
yeah, because it's hard to navigate those two worlds.
Yeah, what is she doing? She's waking up to something. Probably have woken up to it a long time ago, and now she put this out there. Now, where is she going with it?
It'll be interesting.
Where you gonna go?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what.
You ain't gonna turn down that money though.
I would love to invite Tichina to come to the All Black National Convention
Uh oh.
and lead a conversation on this topic. I
Okay.
saw this. Yeah, we got.
Hey, what? How I was thinking it'd be a great topic.
Yeah, I think it'll be an excellent topic, and I like what she's doing. I just
Oh, I
do.
love it. It's courageous.
I think it's definitely courageous, and and I hope that for her sake, she's got her financial situation secure enough. Because I mean, it is dangerous territory when you start getting overly woke. White people don't like that. They only want Negroes who take sleeping pills every morning.
That's right. So so let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Keep the questions going. Let's see how far you gonna take this.
yeah. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for the
She done
ride.
opened up Pandora's box now.
Yep, everybody type Tichina in the chat. Like Tichina, type we love Tichina. And by the way, anyway, guys, you guys are watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. This is where my wife and my therapist, Professor Wife, and I get together against our pillows and have what we hope are intelligent conversations about things happening in the Black community. So if you believe in Black love, if you believe in Black intelligence, if you believe in Black family, then you're in the right place. Go to boyceandalicia.com and there are free guides on how to get rid of the drama in your personal relationships, get rid of drama-free finances, drama-free relationships, drama-free family, the drama-free lifestyle. Basically, we can introduce you to that for free. So feel free to go to boyceandalicia.com, and also there's a Black Love Challenge there. You can keep up with the different events we have going on. So hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Just a reminder also, the All Black National Convention is going to be October 28th to the 30th. Dr. Alicia and I will be there. And I hope you all will join us. And if you subscribe to boyceandalicia.com for free, we'll keep you posted on the convention and how to be a vendor and anything else you might want to know. All right, so let's go back. Let's go to the next question. Okay, so Tichina Arnold, just to recap for everybody who just came in, Tichina Arnold basically asked, what can Black women do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men? And a lot of the comments are really interesting. And here's another one. Oh, now here's one.
Okay.
Yafa, this got a lot of likes. She said, "What about us as Black women?
Mm-hmm.
Where is the protection and respect for us? What do you think?"
So she's saying we as Black women need. Well, what she's saying is, okay, so we're gonna protect and play a part in stopping the emasculation of Black men. Okay, so then where does that leave us? Are you gonna try to protect us because we out here vulnerable, doing it all by ourselves? Are
Well,
you going to come and help us? It's like, we're going to pose this question on how we can support you. How about you supporting us?
mm,
That
that's
makes
a good
sense.
good point. And by the way, somebody asked a question about the convention. I forgot to mention it's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. And will it be streamed online, Lila? Yes, there will be a condensed version of the convention online. But the full experience, it's hard to replace that. So you got to actually show up. But yeah, there will be an online component as well. So thank you for asking, Lila. All right, so here's the deal with that comment. I get it. I hear what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
I totally respect what she just said. What about us? you know
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is a natural response to a question like that, and that's what you see a lot when you have these conversations. The downside of that, number one, is I think I don't remember which one of the four horsemen of an argument that this violates, but basically I remember when we talked to our therapist, our counselor that's worked with us and talked to us about stuff. One thing he talked about was you can't get in this tennis match back and forth like, well, what about me? Like, so somebody comes to you and they say, you hurt me. And then you turn to say, well, you hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
It's
say, well,
it's
you hurt me more,
it's
you
being
know?
defensive, and you can't be defensive. And so the point of it is to say, when someone's posing a question for you, instead of asking the question and validating what they have to say, then you turn and be like, no, wait a minute, so what about me?
Yeah.
And so we'll get to you. It's like, so that's sort of what that's about. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
hmm
But right now, let's talk about what you brought up.
Yeah. It's
So
like, it's
yeah,
like
I
it's
get
one
it.
issue at a time. Like
Hmm.
if the question is about protecting Black men, let's focus on that. And because here's the thing,
Hmm.
if you support those Black men that want to be masculine, and just kind of give them the support that I believe a woman can offer. Women have power. What a woman says in your ear affects you as a man. It can affect
Hmm.
a woman, can affect a man's confidence. People act like what women say shouldn't matter. No, that's only for people who ignore women. Women want to be heard, and they should be heard. So when you're hearing the woman, whether when you start with your mama, if you got a mama that is constantly beating you down, constantly bashing you, constantly yelling at you, which some mamas do, and they don't realize what they're doing to their sons. It affects him emotionally.
Yeah, you know what? As you were talking, you know what? I'm just remembering more of this Willie Lynch. I'm going back to Willie Lynch because that's really what she's asking. She's bringing up an aspect of the Willie Lynch letter, and it is a survival mechanism for mothers to emasculate their son because they saw in slavery
Mm,
that the more masculine men, the men who tried to protect their family, tried to stand up against the system, they got lynched. And
mm,
so it is a protective thing for mothers to be overprotective, Black mothers in particular, to be overprotective of their Black sons,
mm.
in the sense emasculating them because they don't want them lynched. They want them to
Yeah,
survive.
that's true. I
Because if
mean,
you're too strong, if you're too outgoing, if you're too forceful, it's destruction for you.
well,
And that's very painful.
that is such a great point.
Hmm.
And because the modern day lynching is things like police shootings
Yeah.
or a Black man losing his job, even, because he's outspoken.
Or
And I
going to
can
prison.
or going to prison, right? There we go, right? And I remember growing up and having all the women that loved me, my grandmother, my mother, and or just women that I just knew that I saw at the University of Kentucky, who always warned me about being who I am right now. They
Yeah, they were
warned
scared.
Yeah, they warned me about being outspoken. They
Hmm.
warned me about standing up against the white man. And they would say, well, no, Black men who do that, bad things happen to them. And I had to say to them, like, I don't care. it doesn't, it's fine. And it drove him crazy, right?
Yeah.
But that speaks to another point, right? So to respond to Yafa's question, which I think is a legitimate point, is one, if you support if you support masculine men will naturally protect black women. The reason you don't feel protected is probably because of this emasculation issue. The black men around you, maybe they're so emasculated they don't feel that they can protect you, or don't feel that they're needed in order to protect you. But then secondly, that point that you make about about women sort of, you know naturally keeping boys as little boys and not letting them grow into men.
Yeah.
That it might make him safe, but he's not going to be an effective asset for the women around him.
Oh,
Because
well, it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum, is what it is.
Yeah, think
it's
about it,
an
right?
impossible situation.
Yeah, so think about it, right? You want to protect your son, so you keep him feminine, or not feminine, but you keep him. You make sure he's not too masculine, so he doesn't draw the attention of the white
too
man.
outspoken.
So then he goes out into the world and he becomes somebody's husband and father. Now you sent this little boy out to do a man's job.
If he even goes out to the world, he could just live with his mama.
right. Once he leaves,
Forever.
But he's going to leave his mama's house to go, so he can go have sex or something, and he's going to make some babies. And if because you've zapped all the masculinity out of him, he's not going to be able to step up and do the things that a man does for his wife and children. So then next thing you know, his baby's mamas are calling you, complaining that Tyrone won't pay the child support and Tyrone ain't taking care of his kids. And then what's really crazy is that you have some moms that'll sit there and they'll defend their baby, because that's what he is, your baby.
It's so true.
He's 42, but he's still your baby.
It's true. Yep. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I think that point of saying, that when you emasculate a man, or keep a man from being too masculine, and you throw him out in the world, you're really abusing other women. You're harming them.
Okay, let's not go there.
I think
you're stretching. You're stretching.
No, I've heard that argument made. Like I've heard single mothers get mad at their child's father's mom, and they would say, "Why are you raised him to be like this? Now he's somebody else's nightmare."
Or what you end up being is like one of our other pillow talks, where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna find him a job.
Oh Lord,
it's Jesus. A trust. Like she's carrying out what the mama left off. Thank you very much, mom. Give me the keys. I'm now gonna find him a job and help him. I'm gonna help him help me. That is so Willie Lynch.
Yeah,
because he's too weak to do it on his own.
Yeah, it's the passing of a generational curse. Everybody has a new role. Like she's basically taken on the same role that his mother probably took on.
But you have to understand that it comes from a place of survival. Comes from a place of survival. Of a system that was just problematic anyway.
Crazy,
for lack of a better word.
A crazy system. I mean,
yeah.
You think about how many black men end up in prison, and I wish people would sort of pay attention. When you see people celebrating, Ketanji Brown, Jackson, she found her a good man because these black men ain't nothing. Well, where are all the good black men? Well, Joe Biden locked them all up. And I wish black folks would connect the dots, that these things like incarceration or whatever, that's all linked. There's a tradition of that. I want to eliminate the black man, either get rid of him, either kill him, lock him up, or keep him as a little boy or a little girl, so that I can have the black woman next to me, right? And then, years later, you have those images of, Ketanji and with her white husband, and no disrespect to anybody who's in a interracial marriage. I'm not talking about you.
It is disrespectful to people in an interracial marriage, though. I mean,
it's not
disrespecting them, but then at the same time,
I'm not disrespecting them. No, because I don't believe in judging anybody's individual situation.
Okay.
I don't think that's right.
I'm certain.
I think you can talk about it in a broader systematic capacity without saying that I have an issue with you and your white spouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's hard for me to hold both of that in my head at the same time. Like your two comments. So I think you know, my perspective. I think it's just awesome that she is in this position, and I'm just
Oh, you're
elated.
talking about Judge Katanji?
Yes, I'm so elated for her. I'm so elated that she's in this position, and we'll see what happens. But I
Well,
really just love that. I love the fact that she's the Supreme Court justice, and I love the fact that we got to give credit where credit is due. Joe Biden said, I will recommend a black woman," and he followed through on that. That was something that Barack Obama never did. So we have to give credit
mm,
where credit is due. Now, you said it's a little tainted. I agree that she is married to a white man. I agree with that. I
well,
just agree.
the reason
Hmm.
I wouldn't, I'm not gonna, yeah, I don't think that, I think that her nomination and her confirmation
Hmm.
are complex. On one hand, you're right, we got a black woman on the Supreme Court, and I think that's a great thing.
Beautiful.
I think,
Beautiful.
but on the other hand, there's never ever in history ever been a Supreme Court justice who married a black person,
Hmm.
and there's a reason for that. It's
Hmm.
because black love and black marriage are the ultimate threats to white supremacy. So when you integrate, to some extent, some say that that has diluted your black power.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that, I did read some of the comments, and there was one comment. Did you pull that up? It was a chart. It was a chart of interracial relationships. Did you see that on the Twitter? Because you sent me the link this
Oh, you're
morning.
talking about where you had
And there was a chart of interracial dating, and it in that chart it highlighted the fact that black men are more likely, when you look at the pie of interracial couples, it's more likely going to be black men on somebody with somebody else other than, of course,
them
black women.
black women.
So when
Mm-hmm.
there's an interracial um relationship involving a black person, chances are it's going to be the black man marrying outside of his race. So black men are
Mm,
more likely to marry outside of their race when they do than black women do. And I think that the point of that chart that someone put up there is that as black women, we've always been loyal to black men.
yeah.
We've always had your back. We've always been there for you. But we can't necessarily say that about y'all.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Y'all have let us down.
Well, I can definitely acknowledge that, right? And I think it goes back to, but it also, and it does. It goes back to the point that we were talking about earlier that Tichina brought up. How are black men being raised in America?
And remember,
Most black,
she's
remember, most black men are raised by a black woman,
hmm
right? So you cannot talk about the failure of the black man without talking about the failure of the black woman. You cannot talk about the failure of the black woman without talking about the failure of the black man.
Well, let me just remind you, she's living in Los Angeles. I'm thinking.
Mm.
I go there several times a year, and I see a lot of black men with white women when I go. It is stunning.
Yeah, well, they don't like black women in LA.
I don't know what it is with them over there. It's
They're
like they get themselves a little snow bunny, and they have the little brown little kids. I don't know what they are. Those little children,
oh, well,
and
don't
they
make
just
fun of
seem,
their little
well,
brown
whatever
kids.
they, I don't know, those kids, and they look like they are fit to be had. And so they and I'm just like, and then I noticed a lot of white men trying to hit on me. I'm just like, get away. No, it's insulting for a
Mm,
white man to hit on me. It insults me. It's like, who do you think you are? Did you think that you could actually have an opportunity with me? No, I'm
mm,
strictly black man.
mm.
It just is insulting, and it feels, they never approach me in a way that feels respectful, by the way.
Oh,
And
really?
even if they did, I wouldn't even want to have anything to do with them anyway.
So it's
So
more
who do you
like,
think you are? Did you think that you think you're good enough to be with me? No, no, no.
so you think it's like maybe a fetish type thing?
It feels like it could be a fetish. It feels like it could be a phase. It just doesn't seem very serious. Plus, I mean, just my background, I just couldn't do it. I mean,
Mm,
I was born in Tuskegee. That's the blackest city in the world.
mm,
And
mm,
then I was raised in Gary, Indiana, which is another blackest. Those are two blackest cities in the world.
mm.
And I went from Gary to Tuskegee. Like, why would I don't even know how I could even relate to a white man. How I could relate to a white man, I just don't know.
Well, I think that what I see, honestly, is if you look at any other culture, any other ethnicity, there are people, especially those who are heavily identified with that culture, whether you're talking about Jewish, Asian, Arab, and that's what they want. They just, they their preference is for each other. You know, Indian. If somebody is from a traditional Indian family, they don't really want their kids to marry somebody who's not Indian. So it's not even always so much somebody disliking another group or hating anybody. It's them just kind of saying, no, like, we relate to each other, and we want our families to be Indian families or Asian families or whatever, because we can maintain Asian traditions. We don't have to sort of become something other than what we want to be. And so in America, there's this interesting long history that white and black people have had with each other. Well, we've kind of been in each other's space, and sometimes love will jump across the aisle, and there'll be some lust and desire, that's interracial. And what it does is it creates an interesting scenario where there's always that interesting temptation. I think that for black men, I've heard black men say, you know, I want to date a white woman because white women know how to treat a man, right? Or white women don't give us all the attitude that black women give us, or whatever they might say, right? And I've also heard black women say, I need to get a white man because there ain't enough black men, or I need to get a white man because these black men don't know how to act. And
I
really,
don't.
no, but let me explain though. Let me explain.
Yeah.
I think that when your preferences get to that point, like not so much to the point where you accidentally just kind of fell in love with somebody who's different, but to the point where you are actively seeking somebody who doesn't look like you.
And we know
That
people who
is
do
right.
that.
That says more about you
Yeah.
than it says about your group, right?
Yeah, it
So if I'm a
does.
black man who says I need to get me a white woman or Asian woman or whatever, that means I have an issue with being a black man. I have an issue with my black mother. I
Mm-hmm.
have an issue with black people, period. Because think about it. You got a black mama, black sisters, black, all these black female relatives.
A black woman pushed you out of them, gave you life. And
Yeah.
you're going to sit there and have that kind of attitude. So that tells me something went wrong there. And the thing is that your beliefs is what you're going to pay attention to anyway. So if you have this belief system where you're thinking derogatory about black women, then that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just going to work for you that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be insulted. I know that, you know, if I had a sister who was constantly saying, like, I really want a white guy, and
Oh.
all she was dating was white guys, I'd be like, what's wrong with me? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like so I understand black women who feel that way. I totally get it, right? So I think overall, I think that you can have a conversation that's pro black marriage and pro black love
Mm-hmm.
without being anti anything. I don't think it's a matter of going up to every interracial couple and saying you make me sick.
Well, no,
No,
we don't do that now.
right. But I think all of us have patterns. All of us have a dating history, and I think that that we can see patterns there. You can see the things that you like and who you are, and looking at who you dated. That's like looking in the mirror. So if you're a black woman and you dated a whole string of white boys, that means that
Oh,
that's your
I do
preference.
think those people have a very serious complex.
There's an identity issue going
Yeah,
on.
it's
Yeah,
definitely an identity issue.
yeah, yeah. So anyway,
So what other
I'm
comments?
gonna pull up a couple more comments that we can move on. By the way, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. If you could take 1 second, please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe. We are in an uphill battle. We're trying to promote intelligent conversations in the Black community, and we're battling against ignorance, and ignorance is winning. And so ultimately, our hope is to find anybody out here who likes intelligence and who wants to be smart. And so, if you could share this podcast with other people, we would really appreciate it. We believe that black people are better than just BET and Popeye's chicken. So we actually want to. Don't get me wrong. You can watch BET, and it's okay if you like Popeye's chicken. But we also want you to get some chicken soup for your soul and something that's going to make you better and smarter and more capable. So take a moment. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, we have free resources. You can actually get free training on drama-free communication by going to boyceandalicia.com. You must eliminate the drama from your life so that you can get past that pain and heal, so that you then have the ability to go on and become successful in all the other things you do. And so my wife, who's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, my PhD's in finance, We put together a whole curriculum on drama-free finances, drama-free communication, drama-free relationships, things like that. That's scientifically based. It's not just, us rambling with our opinions. This is literally stuff that we actually put together for you. So feel free to go to boyceandalicia.com and you can do our free Black Love Challenge and you can get started with some of that. All right, so let me read a couple more comments in response to Tichina Arnold. So Tichina Arnold, just to reiterate, asks, "What can Black women do to stop supporting or not support the emasculation of Black men?" So let me see if I can find another comment here. Another comment is somebody says, "I appreciate the gesture, Miss Arnold, but I don't know if that is your responsibility. In and of itself, emasculation is a subjective construct." He says, "Trans women, gay men portrayed in media, independent Black women, none of this emasculates me. My manhood isn't that fragile."
Wait, it's not subjective. I mean, I guess it's subjective, but I mean, just look at all the Black men who've come up through the ranks of Hollywood. I mean, name one. They've been emasculated at some point.
Right.
I mean, just pick one, and we could just find the movie where they've been emasculated.
That's so true.
All
Do
of
you,
them.
do you know that there's far more? Think about this. There's
All of them.
there's a far smaller percentage of Black men in Hollywood than white men, right? Because white men run Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a much higher percentage of men, Black actors who put on dresses than white actors.
All of them do. I can't think of one that hasn't. And actually, there's a
I don't think
book.
Chappelle did it. Did Chappelle do it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. So there's a book by this guy named Brother Panic. And
Okay.
he goes through the entire, I don't know, I can't remember the name of it right now, but he goes through all Black men in Hollywood, and he
Mm,
actually identifies the movie of which they have been emasculated. Very,
mm.
very fascinating. And yes, so in that book he says Chappelle, yes, he did. It was Men in Tights.
Oh, the Robin Hood thing.
The Robin Hood one.
Well, let's go look at Men in Tights. That just sounds like a
That's the movie.
that
That's
ain't a
his
that is not a
emasculated
masculine title.
movie.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, shit. Okay, so let's keep going.
Anyway, go
Let's
ahead.
keep going. And poor Will Smith, I remember that movie. What was it, 6 Degrees of
Oh, he
Separation?
has so many.
Yeah,
He has so many.
interesting.
I think Hitch, he was emasculated in Hitch, that movie Hitch.
When he kissed the guy.
Well, he was just kind of like helping this white man find love. And he was pretending like he was he was a lady to kind of like demonstrate to him. It was really awful. It's a
Hmm.
really terrible scene. So I mean, Will Smith has done it through a lot of his movies.
Interesting, interesting.
Emasculated himself.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So let's see. Somebody says, "Speak up. Understand that you can't harm the Black man without inadvertently harming the Black woman. We also
Yeah.
need to allow men to define manhood for themselves. We as women can't define this, as we would be in arms if it were reversed." That's a good
Yeah.
point.
I kind of like that statement.
Yeah, I like it too.
And it's almost like opening up this conversation. Boys, it's gotta be a topic at the convention. We must
Yeah,
talk about this some more.
I think it should be. And in case you guys don't know, the All Black National Convention, which is our annual family reunion of the B1 community, it happens in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th through October 30th. And so, if you're interested, you can actually pick up your passes at my website, actually, boycewatkins.com. So feel free to go there. And also at boycewatkins.com, you can find Alicia is going to be speaking in Detroit. When on
Yes,
the
I
30th?
am
Is that right?
on the 30th. No, on May 1st. I'm speaking May 1st.
Yeah, yeah. So she's speaking, and it's going to be a great event. It's going to actually have Professor James Small, Malena Karanga, Scheherazade Ali,
Hmm.
Riza Islam, and so a lot of
Ken Harris, Dr.
Dr.
Ken
Ken Harris.
Harris.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So a lot of really smart people there. So if you actually want to go to the One Africa conference, it's One Africa Unity
Uh-huh.
Conference.
One Africa Unity Conference.
Yeah, then feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. I'll put the link up there on my website. So feel free if you'd like to join. Detroit, April 30th, right?
April 30th and May 1st.
Okay.
And I'm speaking on May 1st, Sunday, May 1st.
Oh, are you? Okay. Okay,
Yes.
great. All right. Well, I
That's
wish I
what's
wish I
up.
could be there. I
I
gotta
wish
go.
you could be there too.
Yeah, yeah. So all right, so anyway, it is a time for us to roll on out of here.
Okay. We gotta start our day.
Any parting thoughts on this, babe?
Parting thoughts. Thank you, Tichina Arnold, for even just bringing this up. it would be really awesome if she came to the convention and spoke on this.
Yeah.
And, and led a panel or whatever, however that she could be part of this continuing conversation, because it's a lot to unpack. I mean, that statement is a lot to unpack. So it was a beautiful question.
Yeah, I think so too. I applaud her.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what she's trying to do is great. I think we as Black people need to have our own conversations so that, at the end of the day, whatever your opinion is, I hope everyone will just be open minded, learn how to listen. You got to listen and you got to communicate. And so I thought it was great. And that was why I suggested to you that we talk about this today, because that's what we're doing now. We're talking about it because she chose to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. So I'm happy. I love it when I see people using big social media platforms for a purpose that is going to strengthen the mindset of our people.
Yeah.
So she deserves major, major, major props for this. So shout out to Tichina Arnold.
Big
Uh,
up. Big up, Tichina.
big up, Tichina. Oh, by the way, as you know, Alicia is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. So she sees couples on a regular basis. So if you'd like to know more about what she does, feel free to visit coachingwithdralicia.com, or you can follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. So thank you all for hanging out with us. It was real. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe on your way out the door. We're going to come back to you guys again real soon. And again, you can go to boyceandalicia.com if you'd like to get some free resources from us. So everybody, please have a wonderful day. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye, everyone.